I'm Sherry Scheuer, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our longleaf pine cluster here that we have. The longleaf pine tree has some very cool and unique characteristics that helps perpetuate itself. The pine cones that drop are such a popular eating item for all the critters that 99% of it is eaten before the seeds can even hit the ground. So the longleaf pine has adapted, and it has learned how to mast and drop a huge abundance. About every 7 years it'll drop a large abundance of the pine cones so that the critters all get their 99%, and then there's still quite a few that can lay seeds and grow into these beautiful trees that we have. Now, one other thing that I like to think that might have happened here is a fox squirrel is a big part of this program sometimes. The fox squirrel has jaws strong enough to open up the longleaf pine cones when they're green and every seed is still viable. So the little squirrels can't, the gray squirrels cannot do that. So I just kind of can picture that the fox squirrel had a green cone. In his frenzy, he's flipping all the seeds everywhere, so that a lot of them chose this nice open ground to lay down their seeds, and then they start their growth pattern. The really short grass stage, you see, they come up as a little puff, a little tuft here. The growth bud will stay way down in the ground, so it is protected from the fire. It'll grow there 2 to 8 years, and in that time it's laying down all a big elaborate root system. A lot of times underneath here, his root system and taproot is much larger than the actual tree. So they'll stay there and then gathering all the nutrients and then decide to shoot straight to the sky. So within 6 years, they might be as tall as 6 to 8 feet, or within 3 years, 6 to 8 feet tall. So they go up, up, up to get away from what, right? The fire. The fire can come through, but it probably wouldn't be able to grab onto that again yet, right? The growth bud is pretty high up there. You can see that it uses, when it's younger, it uses all of its energy just going straight up, and then he is tall here, so he starts bifurcating there and will begin his branching out and turning into a mature tree. Now probably only one of these will survive. They're very competitive, so that's what goes on as they reach maturity. The roots are going and going and going and underneath and grabbing every bit of sandy soil and land and nutrients that they can. So only one might be here in our future. So if we came back to check every 10 years, you might see maybe it's this one, maybe it's this one, but the other guys, they'll be falling off because there's just not enough room. When you see them out in the open, you'll just see, in the historical times, just the one large tree, another large tree. That way the fire doesn't go across the canopy of the tree either. And they can live to be 300 years old. So could you imagine if we still had some, to see a 300-year-old longleaf pine?